Hello there, guys, and welcome back to my channel for my live reaction and instant player ratings live stream following Napoli 2, Chelsea 3 in the UEFA Champions League in the last game, in the 8th game of the UEFA Champions League phase. A win that makes us finish in the top 8, that makes us finish 6th in the Champions League table. It sounds weird to even say the phrase Champions League table, but that's what it is. We finished 6th. That means we avoid the playoffs. We are straight through to the round of 16 and avoid 2 extra games coming up now in February. Absolutely brilliant. What a second half. What a masterclass from Joao Pedro. What an absolute masterclass from Joao Pedro. Those 2 goals were absolutely outrageous. And even otherwise, I mean, there was a couple of Lukaku touches in there, but my God, he was trying more than anybody else put together. Honestly, this was his night. Joao Pedro, the Joao Pedro that I know and love from the Club World Cup, he was finally back. He was finally back. Oh my God. And honestly, like Joe says, this coach has got balls. I love it. Rosenior showed a lot of balls today. I mean, I'm not sure if necessarily so many of us agree with the lineup, and you can say that the lineup that he started the game with didn't necessarily work. But the balls he had in the second half, the way he changed it around, whoo, fair play. Fair play. He tried a lot. And it came off for him. The only guy that I feel bad for is Jamie Gittins, because he came on and he had to come back off. I'm not sure if he got injured. But anyways, what an insane night of football. I mean, we took the lead so early with that penalty. Reece James free kick, hit into the wall, clear handball, clear penalty. Enzo Fernandez steps up, scores it. And we're laughing. We hadn't really done anything, but we're absolutely laughing to the bank, right? And then Napoli slowly but surely start to build more and more pressure. Initially, we defend it well, deal with it quite well. But eventually, they all of a sudden score. And then we start to struggle even more. They get even more confidence. And then they all of a sudden score again. And then it's half time. And we're like, oh, what the fuck? Because, what on earth is going on? And then second half, Joao Pedro happens. Oh, my God. We will get into the lineup first. We will talk about Joao Pedro. We will talk about the shifts. At least I will try to give my best perspective of the shift around that Rosenior did pull off today. In that game, and fair play to all of them. I'm very much looking forward to reading the quotes. I'm looking forward to reading interviews later. Yeah, absolutely crazy. I was wondering where the live was. Yeah, sorry, Andre. My apologies. You know, the game took quite a hot minute. The Benfica game kicking off at the last second. Benfica going through against Real Madrid. Jose Mourinho. Oh, my days. Unbelievable night of Champions League football. Anyone else just catch the end of Benfica Madrid? Yes, Ross. Yes, I did. Absolutely mental, by the way. Absolutely mental. Have you seen it, guys? Right? So Benfica need a goal. They've got, first, they seemingly don't realize that they need a goal. Then they get a free kick, 97th minute or something. They put the ball in the box. Keeper's there. Keeper gets the head and scores against Real Madrid, who had already had 2 men sent off. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Chelsea's unbelievable. Football's unbelievable. I'm having a fantastic time. Do you know what I mean? Andrew says, what a game. Pedro is top class. He really was. Pedro, play off the match. No contest. Great pass by Palmer to set it up. Yes, very good. Palmer with the assist for the winning goal in the end. Not that much of Cole Palmer, but it was good to have that one moment of magic at least. Ross says, we would have lost that game on Maresca. Nice to see a manager admit things aren't working, switch things up to get a result. Those sketchy defensive moments need to stop, though. It's interesting because I felt the first half would not have happened this way on the Maresca. But I agree with you that the second half probably wouldn't have happened this way on the that wouldn't have happened on the Maresca either, I should say. Of course, it was individual brilliance that you know saved us here. But still, the moves that Rosenior made were proactive, were positive, and I think that played a big role, and that helped a lot. Jacuzzi says, "Up the Chelsea, yes, boys, up the Chelsea." Had to get the win for those fans. Attacked last night, yes, of course. Last night in Naples, Chelsea fans attacked with knives, screwdrivers, and everything. Had to be hospitalized. So get well soon to all of them. And yeah, fuck them. Seriously. New manager is not hurting the squad, that's for sure. Nope, he's not hurting the squad for now. No one ever compared Joao Pedro to Jackson ever again. No, Jackson's still better. Jackson's still better. But Joao Pedro, boy, did he do bits today. Absolute masterclass. Like I said, crazy match. Pedro and Sanchez won us the game. Yeah, Sanchez was absolutely top class as well. Absolutely. Joel says, what a win. What a win. We are We had the boys in royal blue. We come from Stamford Bridge, boy. We do remove this timer, bro. I want to hug you, Laurenz. We did it, mate. Sorry, bro. You know, when the timer runs, I still do a few things. It's not like I'm just sat here waiting for the timer to run. I'm just sorting out the last few bits and bobs. I mean, that's kind of what it's all about. This coach has got balls. We touched on that already. We've thankfully only gone and done it. Joao Pedro is my man of the match, in my opinion. Yeah, clearly, Dylan. Clearly, yes, Laurenz. Yes, Joel. Neto hooked. Estevao hooked. My decisive manager, freed from Maresca. Who would have left Neto on? Genuinely, Neto coming off at half-time was one of the greatest things I've ever seen a manager do in my entire life. Honestly, it gave me spirit, it gave me freedom, it gave me heart. No, I'm overdoing it. But Pedro Neto on the left is such a big waste of space and time. It's unbelievable. When he's on the right, he spent like 2 seconds on the right in this entire game, and he immediately nearly scored. Do you know what I mean? Spent the entire rest of it on the left, and it was absolute dog water for the entire time. We're in the top 8. Napoli had us in a vice tactically. Ooh, for a while. And I'm not even sure if it was about tactically. I felt we weren't physically on it. I just felt we lost the physical battles and the quality wasn't there. I think tactically we could have actually played through them nicely, but our passing accuracy was just not good enough in the first. Like, we really tried to bait them, play through their press, and then go. But we just didn't have the quality to make it happen. Like, we had the positions, we had the setup, but we just weren't good enough to make it happen. But I think the manager risked a little something with the lineup. We'll get into that in a second. Thank goodness it was Hojlund and not prime Lukaku, because Vergara was really good. Vergara is a player, man. Vergara is a player. Oh, my God. Yeah, honestly, I think we would have dealt with Lukaku probably easier than Hojlund, because Hojlund is quick. Lukaku is just a big fat fucker. Do you know what I mean? You could see it with his chance that he had. Even when he's unfit, Coley makes the difference. His little pass to Joao was amazing. It really was. It really was. Honestly, other than that pass, I felt he really badly hindered us. But it's that pass, you know, it's that pass. It's those moments of magic that you use him for, right? And even the last few minutes, he was pressing more than anybody. I was very happy with him. Palmer is back. Fofana was beyond shocking. I feel a bit bad for him, man. I feel a bit bad for him. The goal from Vergara is... What can he do? Like, he has to... Like, if Vergara doesn't spin and just runs past him because he didn't, like, go for it, everybody's crucifying him. And if he doesn't, like, open his body up, the guy goes down and gets a penalty, and he's also getting crucified. You know, it's the second one, yeah, it should be a bit better. But also, where the fuck's Reece James? Reece James was the near post centre-back, and he weren't anywhere near to be seen. In my opinion, there's more on Reece than it is on Fofana. I can't even lie. Yeah, Santos was really poor. Honestly, I wouldn't even say Santos was poor as an individual. I just felt Rosenior got it wrong in the sense that this night needed the big guns to be the main guys and not Andre Santos like he was at Palace, because he's played this role at Strasbourg before. That wasn't what we needed today. And nothing against Andre Santos. I like him. I didn't even think it was that bad. But he kind of did make that goal happen. I think it was the first goal that he made happen. It just worked better when he wasn't there anymore. Gusto in midfield and a Maresca. I don't know what you're saying. That did happen, yes. That has also already happened under Rosenior, by the way. Gusto was poor, yeah. It didn't really happen anywhere, anything really. Big up yourself. What was that lineup? We'll talk about that in a second. Happy for the win. Big up Sanchez. He saved us from that fraud, getting a goal in the last minutes. Yes, thank God. Give over you, man. Did not catch the game. All right, Amir. All right, I will. You know what? Extra for you. I will switch to FOT1 now, so you can take an overall look at the scenario. You could see the momentum was largely on Napoli's side. Well, in the beginning, a little bit from us, I suppose, but largely on Napoli's side. And then in the second half, with the exception of this period in the 70th minute, we got it back on our side. In the end, deserved winners, I would say. I mean, we had a largely more XG than them. Of course, a good chunk of that is the penalty that we had, but even still, 2.01 XG is not too bad. 11 shots, 5 on target, same as them. 4 big chances, obviously one of them being the penalty. 98% passing accuracy is not too bad. Like I say, we had 3 shots off target as well. 3 of them got blocked. 5 shots from outside the box as well. 1 of them obviously in goal. Like I say, the rundown is we scored from a penalty, from a handball penalty. Great pen. Then all of a sudden they scored with a really strong goal from Vergara. His first ever senior goal. So fair play to him. And then we just started to get a bit sloppy and just couldn't really defend anymore. Cross into Hojlund. Reece James wasn't there. Fofana was too slow to mark him. It's 2-1 at half time. And we're like, well, what the flip? And then you see Joao Pedro turned up in the second half. Boy, did he turn up. Now, I want to get into the lineup. Of course, I'm sure there's many more messages in the chat that I haven't gotten to. I can't get to every single message. My apologies, guys. If there's anything that you really need me to see or talk about, please use the super chat function and support the channel. Gittins comes on, then comes off. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I'm ready for Mike Penders next season. I mean, as am I, but I'm not really sure if that's the game to talk about this. Because Sanchez was bloody brilliant. But his passing was poor. Does Caicedo escape criticism today? Not from me. He really just wasn't good. Slow motion spin, just back off, mate. I mean, I hear that. Obviously, I hear that. But I feel like a little bit easier said than done. I'm not trying to say he wasn't like bad for it, but it was... I think it looked worse than it was, in my opinion. Fofana is our best fit centre-back, but today wasn't his best. Absolutely. I completely agree. I blame the way we played on the lineup and tactics. I mean, tactics. Well, we'll get into it. Fofana nearly gives up a goal on a back pass per game. But it wasn't a back pass today. It was Caicedo that nearly cost us a goal on a back pass. Maresca also put Gusto in midfield. Even if it didn't work, difference is Rosenior took him off. But Gusto was playing right wing back, essentially. It wasn't like in midfield. But there you go. You're very welcome, Amir. You're very welcome. But yeah, this was the line that we went, well, thank you very much. Shout out to Canada. Are you drowning in snow? Let me know whether you're drowning in snow currently. But I appreciate the donation and I appreciate you for tuning in. But yeah, let's get to lineup. So this was the base shape, right? 4-2-3-1. We'll talk about how we shift it around. Reece James was named as one of the nominal centre-backs. He wasn't named as the right back that then would play right centre-back in possession. No. He was named as the nominal centre-back. And then in possession, we initially played this one. Estevao and Enzo as the two number 10s. Malo Gusto out here as the right mid. You can probably shift it around a little bit like this, if you want to shift it around in terms of who was a bit more aggressive, who was a bit, more defensive. But this was then essentially the way we played. And it just didn't really work. Like I said, it wasn't like that we were absolutely awful. Like we had the moments, we played our way through to areas, and then we just didn't have the quality to keep the ball. Like we played it through from like Reece James, Fofana, Sanchez, through Caicedo, and then we got it to Gusto or Estevao or Enzo or Joao Pedro or Neto, and then we lost the ball. Or then we passed it back to Caicedo, and then we just passed it back. Instead of passing it forward and trying to drive and go at them, I don't know. It was very odd. It was very, very odd. And it didn't really work, but we shifted things around a lot. Like a lot. You can see it is this exact same in possession shape as we played on the Maresca, but we filled it to get to that very differently. Very different. Of course, it's a risky approach. You have three centre backs essentially, and two of them are really fullbacks, and then the other one is firstly Fofana, who is quick and athletic, but is not necessarily the most physical. Is not the strongest. It's not the calmest. It's not the best reader of the game. So a risky back three to start with. A risky back three to start with. And you can say it didn't really work. Like I say, you can say it didn't really work. And we can get into the subs. We will get to that. Smash the likes, Ray Gang. Big up, Laurenz. Big up yourself, Lewis. Big up everybody tuning in. I mean, thank you very much, mate. I hope you're doing well. We need to still sort this out, by the way. Text me at some point because my card is still not working on StreamYard and I have no idea why. And we need to fix this. Any which way, welcome, everybody. Welcome to a team that finished in the Champions League top 8. To be fair, everyone in England did, other than one, I think. But yeah, 5 of the top 8 in the end, obviously English teams. But fantastic result. What a second half. I'm still not really over it. I still need to talk about Joao Pedro because, my God. And we're already seeing the first quote, so we'll get to more quotes, of course. We'll look at them separately later. But J Money says, a quote from Rosenior, I am learning as a coach all the time about my team, what we're capable of, and what maybe I need to tweak. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. He showed a lot of courage and a lot of balls today. And I'm very happy with him. Very, very happy with him. But yeah, that was the shade that we started the game with. And, I'm just going to run through it. We're going to talk through the player ratings. But I want to start at the top this today. 2 goals. Of course, he will get man of the match. What a 10 out of 10 rating. What more can you want? You know what I mean? It doesn't get better than that. You don't deserve higher than that. You can't get higher than that. Like 2 super goals. What more can I ask from my player? Like you genuinely cannot ask for more from a player. Absolutely outstanding. I will just, in a second, open up FOTMob once again for you guys. So I can just switch around between the tabs. Just 1 second. I will go window. And I will go for this one. Share. And now you should be able to see. Wonderful. And now I will go over to this one, lineup, and we look at Joao Pedro. Was the player of the match with a rating of 9.1 according to FOTMob. Of course, 2 goals. No assists. How can he get them? Penalty and his own 2 goals. He had a total of 20 out of 26 passes. That's good from his position. You can't complain with that. Scored 2 goals from 0.88 XG. That's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. 2 out of 4 shots on target. 2 out of 2 successful dribbles. I feel like I saw a few non-successful ones, but hey, you'll take it. Defensive actions, not that many, but 3 tackles. Duels, 10 out of 14. Really got stuck in. That's a lot of duels. That's a lot of 1 duels. Fortunately, not aerials, but oh my God, those goals. You know what? I'm quickly just going to go here on Twitter and I'm just going to put Joao Pedro's name in the search bar. And then we're just going to see what comes up. I can't show you obviously videos. I'm trying to look for like a nice picture. You know what I mean? But it's only going to be videos, isn't it? It's only going to show me videos. Why is it showing me 1 video? We'll just use that one. No, you know what? We'll use that one. Is that a good one? That's where I hit it from. Outside the D, right into the top corner. Absolute masterclass. And this little twat over here, this again. Do you know what I mean? Celebrating right next to him, right behind him. Oh my days. Comedic genius. Honestly, what a night today was to take the absolute piss, the absolute Michael out of dear Romelu Lukaku. First, we celebrate that goal there, the equalizer. And then literally he comes on 12 seconds later, we score. Beautiful. Oh my God. And then he missed the big chance at the end as well. Oh my days. I fucking hate you and I fucking love that we beat you today, Lukaku. I absolutely fucking love it. I can't even say it more highly than that. And Antonio Conte, I love you, but I'm also bloody buzzing that we beat you because I talked big talk that Antonio Conte in the Champions League is easy. It weren't easy, but we made it happen. We made it happen. Both men's and women's teams play 2 right backs. Do they? I didn't follow the women's team enough recently, to be honest. Don't play Gusto and James together. No, I disagree. We've had plenty of games where it has worked, but it didn't work today. That's for sure. It definitely didn't work today. I thought it was better. As Palace, I assume you're talking about Andre Santos. Chelsea finished 6th. We'll play either Monaco or Karabakh, PSG or Newcastle in the round of 16. Well, Newcastle would be nice. PSG would be difficult. Monaco and Karabakh. Well, we already had Karabakh. We can make up for a bad result there. But how can we play either Monaco and Karabakh or Newcastle and PSG? Like, that's such a big difference. Can we please get Monaco or Karabakh for the love of God? Do you know what I mean? So are Monaco and Karabakh playing each other in the playoffs, and are PSG and Newcastle playing each other in the playoffs again? Surely there's a draw first, right? And these 4 can draw each other in any capacity, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, maybe. But you can explain that to me better. He created those goals out of nothing, basically. Hat-trick is 10, so 9.5 from me. You know, I agree. Lil Pesa, well, I agree and I appreciate this. I am glad you enjoyed this little segment of taking the piss out of Romelu Lukaku. You know what? I hear what they said about 9.5 because a hat-trick is a 10. But I think you need to apply with context. You know what I mean? Like, I think in a game like this where we're trailing by 2-1 in the second half, and then this guy comes out and scores 2 absolute bangers on his own to win you the game, to turn the game around in a huge Champions League tie. This, by the way, was our very first away win in the UEFA Champions League since 2022 when we won away against Salzburg. I was actually at that game. I didn't realize that was our last away win. I've been to away games since that we just didn't win. That's a long time ago. Like, we're in 2026 now. Think about that. So that's like, what, 3.5 years ago? Absolutely mental. And what a win. And obviously brought along by Mr. Joao Pedro himself. What a performance. What a performance. I'm so sorry. Like, I've been so harsh on this guy, and I feel terrible now. I feel absolutely terrible. I'm sorry, man. I'm really sorry, Joao. Like, I know I've been harsh. I know I've been harsh. But you just haven't been that good sometimes, and a lot of the time. But if you play like this, my God, you and me, we are going to be great fucking friends, I tell you that much. We are going to be great fucking friends. I also love his mentality. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's just such a grifter. You know what I mean? If he didn't have sometimes his Timberland Lukaku touch, oh my God, we'd be best mates. Genuinely. I'm waffling like an absolute king right now. But it's 1:45. I've had a long day and a great night because Chelsea got me the dub. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. We might get lucky here. We might get really unlucky, of course. JP 20, man of the match. You know what? I could even give him a 20. No, I can't. When do we know who we play next? On Friday. On Friday is a draw. I'm not sure what time on Friday, but on Friday, according to my commentator during the game. Anyway, all right. Let's move on. No, that was the wrong view. Let's move on along with these players. You know what? Let's flip it round on its head again. We did the man of the match. We did Joao Pedro, who deserved the most talking about. Let's go back to Robert Sanchez. All the way back to the goalkeeper. Fantastic. I give him an 8. We'll look at the stats now. If the stats tell me I'm going over the top, they only gave him a 6.9. Maybe I'll take it down a little bit. XG faced 1.84. Goals prevented minus 0.16. Bit harsh, no? Honestly, I felt like his long ball distribution was even worse than it was. 7 out of 19. Ain't that bad. How many saves did he make? 3 saves. You know what? Maybe an 8 was a bit high, but he did make some good saves. A high claim, which I enjoyed, and a couple of decent saves. Aerial duels 1. I've never seen that for a goalkeeper, but I will give him a 7, okay? Because I feel like 8 maybe was overdoing it a little bit, looking at those stats. But obviously, stats don't tell you everything. Stats aren't everything, so you can't go with that. Big up to Sanchez. Would have got mental if Mr. Timberland would have scored that in injury time. Mate, that would have been the most Lukaku thing in history if he scored against us to take us out of the top 8. But Napoli still wouldn't have been in the playoffs if they got a draw. So if he scored today, that would have not helped his team at all, but would have harmed Chelsea. That is literally the definition of Mr. Lukaku's entire career. Do nothing for anybody useful and harm us. That's literally Romelu Lukaku. What an absolute egghead. I hate the guy. Absolutely hate the guy, man. I didn't even like the fact that Chalobah was talking to him. Man, I'm going to give Chalobah a low range just before... I'm joking. Let's move on. Let's get this out the way. Wesley Fofana should have done better on both goals. I don't think it was an absolute monster howler, so I'm giving him a 4. But, you know, it's basically I have a 6 and I'll take 1 off for each goal. You know what? I'm actually giving him a 4.5. I'm not sure what straw I'm clutching on to give him that 0.5 extra. But I just feel like a little bit of sympathy because I'm like, yeah, I know you look kind of bad, but I feel on the second one, he should have been helped out more by Reece James. And on the first one, it was also just really good play. Like sometimes not everything is always a defender's mistake when an attacker gets past the defender. But in this case, it was a little bit. I'm just saying, you know, you get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? I hope so. Reece James. I mean, he was very good, but I still think he should have done better on that goal. Yeah, when he was playing right back, he was trying to drive the team up the pitch. 5.5. Is it too harsh, guys? Please help me out. What shall we do about Romelu Lukaku? By the way, get involved in the chat. There's 160 if you're watching. Now, first and foremost, go down below and hit the like button for me. One click of a button. Please go and do it right now. I'll hold on a second. Just please go do that. Hit the like button for me and subscribe. We're still on that long road to 20,000 subscribers, but we'll get there one day. And the more of you that subscribe right now, the sooner we will make it there. So please do subscribe and let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you're not subscribed and that's why you're not talking in the chat, well, please do subscribe. That'd be nice. But yeah, am I being too harsh on Reece James? If I give him a 5.5, I just felt defensively we were just too open. You know what I mean? It just felt too easy to go through us. But now, you know what? I'll raise it to a 6 because he was playing out of position. And I felt at times, in particular for the way he defended that goal, and I even noticed it a few times, he like wanted to go into right back areas. And then he kind of noticed himself and kind of made himself track back and like go back into center back position. And should I be surprised at that? No, not really, because he's not used to it. Like on the ball, he's often the right center back. So on the ball, that wasn't an issue. But defensively, you could tell. But I still understood where Rosenior did it, but it didn't really work. We would have been better off with Chalobah on the pitch, not instead of Reece James, but just shifting things around, of course. But yeah, I'll give him a 6. Let me see. Has anybody said it whether it was crazy harsh or not? Love to hate Romelu. Fuck him. Yes, absolutely. Would have been sour if Lukaku scored. Yeah, absolutely. If we tied, you would give Sanchez 5-6. Would I? Well, no. I don't think he can do anything about either goal. So why would I have a go at Sanchez? I thought he made some decent saves from Lorenzo at the near post, a couple of, and 1 or 2 nice high claims. The one against Lukaku late on. I thought he was good. I think 7 is fair. Are we still paying Lukaku? No. Thankfully. Well, first of all, by the way, I haven't even touched on this. Raheem Sterling has left Chelsea Football Club. Oh, my God. Good riddance. Cheerio. Hopefully he goes to QPR and not to Saudi Arabia. But yeah, cheerio. Contract terminated, not at the full payout, but still a contract terminated. He's gone. But no, Lukaku was officially sold, thankfully. Thankfully, this guy is gone. Because otherwise we would be fucking miserable. Marco Correa. I don't think he was amazing. I really don't. Let me quickly look at Reece, what things said there. Strong passing, I guess. 1 out of 1 dribble, 2 out of 5 long balls. I'd like that to be better, if I'm honest. Only 1 tackle, 1 big block. I remember that now, big block. 6 recoveries, 2 out of 3 ground duels. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe I'll even take it back down to this 5.5. Now, Cuckoo, 52 out of 56. I'm happy with that. 2 out of 4 long balls. I'm all right with that. Again, not that many defensive actions. 4 out of 6 ground duels, though. I give Cuckoo you know what? I'm going to do something crazy. I'll give Cucurella a 5.5 and I will give Reece James a 5.5. That's what I will do. You know what? This is, on the one hand, I obviously love doing these streams by myself. Then I can read the chat more, talk to you guys more, have a little bit more interaction, a bit more back and forth. But when I have guests on, obviously it helps me with my ratings because sometimes I'm just not sure and then we end up in these situations. But Moi Caicedo, I'm not happy with you. I will give him a 5, but he wasn't good. Okay? We have to be as honest as that. He wasn't good. Honestly, I expected way more than 4 misplaced passes to be here. 1 out of 1 dribble, 1 out of 1 long balls, 2 out of 6 ground duels. 2 out of 6 ground duels, man. Too many fouls. Did he get booked? I don't think he got booked at least. Too many fouls. Just wasn't really happening. I think a 5 is okay, I think a 5 is okay. I'm not even going to go too much more into depth on that. I think a 5 is okay. Andre Santos. I talked about his struggles. We tried to give him a similar role to Crystal Palace. I think Rosenior was one of these where, if you remember, there was a time under Frank Lampard, back in his first spell, when we changed formation to something and it worked, and then Frank would stick to that formation no matter the next game, even if it didn't make sense. And that's what slightly part of today felt like with Andre Santos' role anyway. I'm like, why are we doing this today? I don't really see it. But he was trying. He was pushing his ass off. That doesn't make any sense. But yeah, 2 out of 2 aerials, 1 out of 4 ground duels only. Played this an hour. I don't even know. Andre Santos. I'll give him a 5 as well. He was probably worse than Caicedo, but my expectation is less than Caicedo. So in the end, I give them the same rating. Maybe some people find that crazy. I find it reasonable. It's not about me. I give the credit to the players. They lost a manager they're really respected for reasons beyond my control or knowledge. All right. Interesting quote. 2 assists. What? They got 1 assist, no? He was better than Reece, than Cuckoo, would you say? I don't know, man. I think Reece should have done better on the second goal. I think at the front post, when everybody's like, Fofana's late, why should Fofana be there? Fofana is behind the striker. Reece was meant to be the centre-back in front of the striker, but he was not there. And that's kind of why, because he was involved in a fault at a goal, even though in general play, I probably agree with what you're saying. Can we ban 3 at the back football at Chelsea? I mean, forever. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Like, because it's so weird, because obviously we play, like I said, we played this setup in possession, I would say 85% of games on Maresca, in a grand scheme of things. Obviously not with Gusto right wing, but just in terms of 3-2-4-1 as a shape in possession. We played this all the time. So it's I get you, but it's tough one, isn't it? Malagusto, I don't even know, man. I almost want to give him an NA because I barely noticed the guy. 22 out of 27 passes isn't great, but isn't shocking. 1 out of 2 crosses, 1 touch in the box as a right mid half the time. Only 2 passes into the final third. That's poor. Defensively, not really involved. Only 1 tackle, 2 clearances. It's not great, 1 out of 1 duel, ground duels, 0 out of 1 air duels. Just, you know what? I'm giving him a 5 purely for not being there. Like, the game bypassed him. The game went past him. And we can't have that, You need to be an active, important member of the team. And I like Gusto, It's just weren't really happening for him and with him, I would say. Give us PSG again, we smashed them. I mean, yeah, but with a different manager and with a slightly different team. But I mean, yeah, I would want them to, but over 2 legs, I don't know. But yeah, we'll see. We'll talk about that when we get to it on Friday. But yeah, I'll just give Gusto a 5. I'm giving out a lot of 5s, but you know, I wasn't that happy with a lot of what we were doing, if I'm being honest. Enzo Fernandez, great pen, fantastic pen once again, properly in the bottom corner. The keeper had the right side, had the right corner. But Enzo took it so perfectly that there was nothing the keeper could have done about it. Other than that, was he amazing? Completed the most passes of the match with 76 out of 82, 93% completion. I mean, he tried, you know. He tried. One out of 3 shots on target. That was obviously a penalty. 2 out of 3 long balls. Defensive actions, 1 tackle. Obviously, he played number 10 for the majority of it, so I can't hold that against him. 3 out of 7 ground duels. I'm okay with. I'll give him a 6.5 because I thought he was average, but he scored. So I know it was a pen, but still scored. So I'll give him a 0.5 above that. That's what I will do. Pedro Neto, man. I need to look at the stats with how low can I go here. 16 out of 17 passes. Why did we pass in the ball so often? That's what I want to know. 1 out of 1 shot. Honestly, I even thought it was the defender that tackled it. But he nearly scored. You know, his shot went in the face of the goalkeeper. So he nearly scored. In the one split second that he found himself at the right wing, it was all of a sudden useful. So even though I genuinely have sometimes some issues with Pedro Neto and his quality, I think this one is more on the manager. Like, don't play him left wing all the time. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, 1 out of 1 cross, all right. No defensive actions, which was half the issue. 0 out of 2 ground duels, 0 out of 1 aerial duels. Just weren't doing nothing. And I'm not giving him a 4 as a 3. I'm giving him a 4. A 3 would feel a bit too harsh, but it wasn't great. It really just wasn't great. And he unfortunately so often isn't. Estevao. I was hoping for a bit more today. I can't. He also got a lot of game time, 74 minutes, but he started at right wing, then played the beginning of the second half at left wing, then came into number 10, almost left second striker. 16 out of 20 passes. You know, he tried things. Unfortunately, no successful dribbles. That's poor. No successful crosses either. 1 out of 6 ground goals. It wasn't his day. I've got to be honest. It wasn't his day. I'll give him a 5 out of kindness. And maybe I could even go lower, but I'll give him a 5 out of kindness. A lot of 5s, but I'll give him a 5 out of kindness. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're not over yet. If you're still here, hit the like button, by the way, if you haven't done that yet. And now we'll quickly get into the substitutions. So now first I need to get all the substitutions ready because we've now got a manager that loves all 5 subs. Every single game so far, Cole Palmer actually got both assists. Did he play the ball to Joao Pedro as well before the first bang? I didn't even realize that, you know. That's actually crazy. That's actually crazy. But there you go. So we had Cole Palmer on at halftime for who? For Neto? Yeah, that's what he came on for. So we take Neto out and we put Cole Palmer in. Cole bloody Palmer with 2 assists. I wasn't even realizing. I genuinely wasn't even realizing. Of course, then things shifted around. You know, I do the first double sub before I shift things around. Trevor Chalobah. Oh, no, we only made 1 sub at halftime, of course. So then we had Estevao come to left wing. Palmer. Yeah, that's essentially what we did initially. But then we made some more subs. Then Gusto came off as well for Trevor Chalobah, which obviously changed things once again. Chalobah on for Gusto. And that was then a double substitution, wasn't it? Yes, Jamie Gittins also came on for Andre Santos. Even though Jamie Gittins came back off again, still at that moment, Jamie Gittins came on for him. Yeah, I do need to know about Jamie Gittins here. All right, so. Yeah, all right. So then we played Gittins left wing. We put Estevao back to right wing. When Palmer was the... No, actually, maybe arguably... Was Estevao the right winger? No, I'm bugging, guys. My apologies. Right, it was like this. It's confusing, you know. It's confusing. Then Reese was here, and then Chalobah was here. So that's then how we shifted it around to Cole Palmer. I still think he's a hindrance, really, at times. When he plays, he slows things down so much. But, yeah, at the same time, like, you know, he's constantly stopped and started, then he's out, then he's back, then he's this, then he's that. You know what I mean? So I don't want to be too harsh, but it's really not that pretty. But then he got 2 assists. Well, the first one, not too much to it, but the second one, fantastic. So with that said, I will give him a 0.7. Because I can't do 0.65, and the point is because he's a sub, so he gets a point. So, to be fair, he played a whole half. You know what? He played a whole half, so he gets a normal rating. They give him a 6.5. People will call this crazy because he got 2 assists and crucial ones. But honestly, without those 2 assists, he's lucky if I give him a 3. I'll be honest. But obviously, you know, circumstances and stuff, it's not that easy. Actually, that's a lie. Fofana was the right centre-back and Chalobah was in the middle. My apologies. By that point. And on Chalobah, I thought he did well. Didn't concede any goals when he came on. Defended well. Gets a 7. Gets a 7. Big up Trev Chalobah. I'm happy. And then we made some more substitutions. Jamie Gittins came back off a little bit later, but first Garnacho then came on for Estevao. So that meant Garnacho in this position. Garnacho also indirectly, I guess, involved in the second goal because he had a run that kind of was so bad that Joao Pedro was never going to pass it to him, and it made Joao Pedro shoot on his own. So well done, Garnacho. Honestly, he didn't play long enough to get a rating, so I'm not going to give him one. Jamie Gittins. You know, I need to click on Jamie Gittins. What did you do? 12 passes, 12 successful. Okay. Successful dribbles, 0 out of 3, but at least he attempted 3. You know, Estevao didn't attempt none. Or 1. 0 out of 3 ground duels, 0 out of 0 aerial duels. Dispossessed how often? 0. What do you mean? I literally watched him get dispossessed like 15 times. What are you doing? Joao Pedro didn't even attempt to dribble. Pedro Neto. That's poor. Yeah, Gittins. I'm not saying nothing on that. And then at the end, Badiashile came on for Gittins again. It was just tactical, I think. You know, Gittins came back off. I've removed him once again. Badiashile came on. And we kind of just went a bit more defensive to see out the game. We kind of created a full-on back 4, which made sense. You know, we just let Fofana be the right back. And then we just, you know, played it out like that at the end, which, you know, had its logic and worked out. So, bloody brilliant. Bloody brilliant. You know, before we get into the quotes by Liam Rosenior, you know what? No, let's get into the quotes by Liam Rosenior right now. Let's do that right now. Let's look at Dodgers because I prefer it as the quotes. Because the website, it just wasn't really working very nicely, was it? We might as well look at that. I will bookmark this so I can come back to it later. Liam Rosenior on the win. Firstly, to get through in this competition is the most important thing. In terms of the season, time on the pitch with the players, it will help. I have had no time. That's not an excuse. It's a fact. I do love that he keeps saying this. The most important thing is to go through. Bro, we were already through before you joined. Like, we were already through. It was just about avoiding the playoffs. But we were already through. Cole Palmer coming on half time, fitness related or planned. I think it's a combination of both. There's no way Cole could have started this game and played 60, 70 minutes. I thought later in the game we would be stronger. I thought Cole was magnificent. We need to look after him. The way he's managed himself in the last 2 weeks has been magnificent. He's a world-class player. There's been a lot of talk about Cole. He was very, very happy man in the changing room after the game, which is great. I want Cole Palmer to be happy. And by the way, if you're hearing rumors on Cole Palmer going to Manchester United, they're not true. It is not happening. He's not unhappy. He's not going to Man United. Liam Rosenior on the setup. I wanted to go for man all over the pitch. I wanted to be really aggressive. When Napoli started to miss our press out and go more direct, the distances were a bit bigger. Yeah, we went man for man. We tried to chase them and we missed them. They moved well. They played nice over the top balls. They used to stretch us. They stretched us all over the shop. Found gaps in the cutbacks, and we just weren't really able to defend it. And that's what I meant earlier. We were just lacking a little bit of intensity, I felt. Energy, maybe. Liam Rosenior on 5 wins out of 6. It's not about me. I give the credit to the players. They lost the manager they really experienced for reasons beyond my control or knowledge. And they really respected, not expected. Beyond my knowledge or control, to accept the new manager the way they have done and work as hard as they have done for me, it's a credit to them. Hopefully we can have more really great nights like this. So do I, mate. So do I. Rosenior on where the Napoli win ranks in his career so far. It's not bad, but again, it's not about me. I'm here to win, and it's my job to win games as manager of Chelsea. I'm really focused on West Ham, on Saturday. Well, he's already focused on that. All right, relax, mate. Rosenior and Joao Pedro's impact for sure. Carlo Ancelotti is one of my heroes, so I don't want to tell him how to do his job. I've had 4 really good conversations. What? What on earth has this got to do with Carlo Ancelotti? I've had 4 really good conversations with Joao already in my office. I think he's sick of my office. I've said to him, if you play... Excuse me. I've said to him that if you play intensely the way you do with your quality... I'm sorry. I need to quickly go look at this and read this properly because none of this makes any sense. None of these quotes make any sense. Last time we had this problem already, right? With the bloody thingamajig, with the ad up here, right? But we can see it down here. See, there it is. Copal made a real impact, combination of both. We saw that. Produced something like tonight, which is not seen that much. Yes, scary good. I don't like to talk about individuals. I felt it wasn't just call. Asked him to play a left wing back role, which he was magnificent. Ale came on to help the team. Yeah, see, it's interesting now that he explained this as a wing back role. It's fascinating. Fascinating. I want to see what he said there at the end. Okay, all right. See more detail. Could you talk us through your setup? I wanted to go man for man all over the pitch. We knew we needed to win the game. I wanted to be really aggressive, and Napoli were very clever after 20-25 minutes. I felt we won the ball back very high in good areas in the first 20 minutes. I agree. And when they started to miss our pass, our press out and went a little bit more direct, the distances were a little bit bigger. We corrected that. We were still man-to-man in the second half, but we started a bit deeper with our press, and I think that helped our composure, which is good. Proving people wrong. When Steve Ray as a manager, Raheem Sterling is left. Joao Pedro is crucial for you now. Can he be the starting number 9 for Brazil in the World Cup? Okay, this explains the answer for sure. Carlo Ancelotti is one of my heroes, so I don't want to tell him how to do his job. I think I've had a very, very good conversations with him already. Probably 4 in my office. I think he's sick of my office. So I've said to him, if you play with intensity, with your quality, with the quality comes out. The 2 goals are fantastic, but the way he held the ball up for the team, the way he sprinted and started the press, the harder you work, the better you are as a player. And I'm very, very happy to have Joao in our team. I am bloody happy for him as well. For such a young squad, our experiences like tonight needed to accelerate the majority of the team and also to make sure that your best players want to stay at the club. Well, on your first question, that's what experience is. It's not like this. And also having setbacks and understanding why setbacks happen. I was told that's the first time before an away in the Champions League for a long, long time as a football club. That's a great marker for the team, and hopefully we can continue. I don't understand your second question. Every player wants to be here. This is a massive club. So unless you know something I don't, I'm very, very happy with my group. And Liam Rosenior, I'm very, very happy with you. I'll tell you that much. I'm very, very happy with you today. And now it's about time we take a look at the Champions League table, how it finished. Of course, Arsenal, unfortunately, top in the league with 24 points, with all 24 points, getting a win against Kairat Almaty today. Bayern Munich second, almost 4 points, only drop points against Arsenal themselves. Liverpool third. How on earth are Tottenham fourth? How are they in the top 4? They are shit. They're getting relegated in the Premier League. How are they fourth? They beat Dortmund. They must have won today, clearly. Fair play to them. And then it gets to Barcelona, who are level on points with us. Of course, we beat them 3-0, but they are level on points with us. And by goal difference, they have a +8, we have a +7. They scored a lot more, but also, in total, +1 better than we are. It is what it is. Would it have got a slightly simpler draw, maybe? But I actually think us and Barca might be in the same thing now. I'm not quite sure how everything works. We haven't been here yet as Chelsea since the format changed, so I'm not quite clued up on the draw. I will figure it out by Friday, though. And then Chelsea 6th. And honestly, out of a group of 36 teams, with teams such as Manchester City, Real Madrid, Inter Milan, PSG, Newcastle, Juventus, Atletico Madrid, Dortmund, all of those teams behind us, Napoli as well, Napoli 30th, I think we did a good job. The fact that Spurs came 4th and Sporting came 7th is mental. But even still, we're also ahead of Man City. I mean, we did a job. 16 points. And I said it all along. I said it even after some bad results. I said, if we beat Napoli and if we beat Paphos, we can still make it. I said, obviously before the kind of Christmas break in the Champions League, and that's what happened. Weirdly, I expected the Paphos game to be more clear than today, but there you go. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. Of course, all the teams from Real Madrid, Inter, PSG, Newcastle, Juventus, Atletico, Atalanta, Bayer Leverkusen, Borussia Dortmund, Olympiacos, Club Brugge, Galatasaray, AS Monaco, Karabakh, Bodo Glimt, and Benfica with their goalkeeper's goal at the very last second, giving them a better goal difference than Marseille. Before that, having the same goal difference, but less goals scored, therefore having been behind them, make it through to the playoffs. So we'll find out about the draw. Big, obviously, commiserations, I suppose, to Paphos, Union Saint-Gilloise, PSV Eindhoven, Athletic Club Bilbao, of course, Napoli, Eindhoven, Copenhagen, literally can't read, Ajax, Frankfurt, Slavia Prague, Villarreal, and Kairat Almaty with 1 point. Scored a goal against Arsenal, though, so you know what I mean. And yes, I purposely didn't wish commiserations to Marseille because no one cares about those lot. Shall we just quickly take a quick look at the games today, at the results, because I haven't seen all of them yet. So I just want to take a quick look. All right, Galatasaray, no, that wasn't. Wait, what? Yesterday? This wasn't yesterday. Oh, it was yesterday. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Here we are. Ajax lost at home to Olympiacos. That's poor. Arsenal won 3-2 only against Kairat. Jorginho. Unfortunately, not the Jorginho. Where's our kid gone, by the way? Is he playing? Is he anywhere? Nowhere to be seen anymore. Well, shame. Still, fair play to him, I guess. Scoring 2 goals at the Emirates. Not that many teams do. Sporting won 3-2 at the Cup. That's how they made it into the top 8, of course. Fair play to them. Bodo Glimt, by the way. What a couple of weeks these guys have had. They won their first Champions League game by beating Man City last week. And now they beat Atletico Madrid away. And now, Bodo Glimt, those 2 wins, they were 9 points. The other 3 points were 3 draws. And now they had 2 wins, and it put them into the playoffs. Unbelievable job from them. Unbelievable job. Fair play to them. And winning away at Atletico Madrid is no joke. Barcelona won 4-1 in the end, having gone 1-0 down after 4 minutes. All second half goals. Lewandowski, Lamine Yamal, Rafinha from the penalty spot, and Marcus Rashford. Still weird. Leverkusen 3-0 win over Villarreal. Shows you how bad La Liga is these days. Benfica 4-2 over Real Madrid. We spoke about the goalkeeper Trubin. Wait, was there a point where Trubin played for Real Madrid? Am I bugging? Can I look this up here somehow? No, he was just a Shakhtar Donetsk. Ignore that. Asensio after 92 and Rodrigo after 97 minutes got sent off. Pathetic. Pathetic club, and I'm happy that they fumbled. What on earth happened here now? Mate. Absolute joke. Here we are. Inter 2-1 away at Dortmund. That's a poor result for Dortmund, I can't lie. 3-0 Club Brugge against Marseille. Club Brugge are good, Spurs won 2-0 away at Frankfurt. That's honestly an impressive result. Can't even lie. 6-0 against Karabakh. See, I would like to laugh about this because they are Karabakh. But we played Karabakh. Okay, it was away. But we played Karabakh and we didn't win. So you know what I mean? Vert scored as well. For a second, I thought they said Chelsea. But it's just Chiesa. Anyways. Monaco, Juventus 0-0. The Paul Pogba derby. Paphos won 4-1 against Slavia Prague. Fair enough to him. Wait. Did Paphos make it through? No, 26. Oh, my days. On goal difference. We nearly helped our brothers out from Cyprus, and it wasn't enough for them, unfortunately. Wasn't enough. PSG and Newcastle drew, which is kind of crazy. Really poor from PSG, that. What has happened to these lot? Do you know what I mean? I mean, they had a lot of XG and just bottled it, but it's obviously done for proper striker. Do you know what I mean? They missed the penalty as well. He might be Ballon d'Or winner, but he ain't no striker, no matter what you say. He ain't no striker. PSV Eindhoven lost 2-1 at home to Bayern Munich. Musiala scored again after his return from injury. Harry Kane as well. In between, it was actually 1-1 for a couple of minutes. Interesting. Our game, obviously, fantastic. And, the fact that we lost to Atalanta, I still can't really get over, if I'm being totally honest, guys. How did we lose to them? Absolutely mental. So let me just look at that. Anything interesting? Been a lot of talk about Cole Lee, was very happy, blah, blah, blah. 4 letters beginning with a aura. Yeah, I mean, fair. It's kind of aura. Can't lie. Asked about maybe facing PSG, win the Champions League. You have to play the best and beat the best. Whoever we play will give it our best shot. Yeah, can we not play PSG, please? I would prefer that. But anyways. Yep, update the graphic. Update the graphic, admin, because we have reached the quarterfinals to round of 16 more often than Arsenal have. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's about time. I'm going to start wrapping this one up. I'm just very happy. I think we did very, very well. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Lunin, not Trubin. But it was something in my head was like, wait, didn't they once have another Ukrainian goalkeeper? But then they didn't. By the way, on Sanchez today, sometimes he felt to me like I'm watching prime Thibaut Courtois again. You know? Because... yeah, mainly because just his kicking wasn't that great, but my God, was his catching good. Do you know what I mean? It was one of those. At least my English team won. Hello from the German Air Force. Hello. And do you have teams everywhere? How does that work? But using German and British flags. Fair. Big ups. Thanks for tuning in. Love to see it, man. So glad to be back in the Champions League knockouts once again. Yes. As am I. Neto on the left just isn't the same. We either just use 2 left wings or 2 right wings. Just don't get it, man. Well, yeah, it's just one of these. I'm not sure if you're here still, bro, but it's as simple as that. The managers all want Neto in the team because of his work rate, because of his experience, because of his mentality. He's very much a mentality monster. Very important for the team, I think, in the mentality sense. And we also kind of want Estevao in the team at the moment. And then, you know, Garnacho, Gittins, and then you're kind of playing Estevao and Neto, and then you're like, one of them has to be on the left. You saw Estevao didn't really do anything when he was on the left. You saw in the first half, Neto didn't really do anything when he was on the left. Just weren't ideal, was it? It just weren't ideal. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to hit the sack. Thank you very much to everybody that has tuned in. Still over 100 of you watching. I appreciate you all. Big shout out once again to Lewis. Of course, you're all coming from Lewis's channel, so subscribe to him if you haven't done that yet, but you probably have. So subscribe to this one. Help me get to 20,000 subscribers as soon as we can. Every new subscriber counts, so please do that. Hit the like button. I massively appreciate it. I really, really would. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea, upwards and onwards, up to the Champions League round of 16. No playoffs. And I will see you next time.